Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt on the radio, on podcasts, on Facebook Live, on YouTube, and on talklawradio.com. Today we're going to be talking about jury trials with attorney Alex Vollmer and attorney Shannon Roberta Salmon-Haas.
Tell it.
We just need one more name, Shannon.
Yeah, you can put my nickname in there if you like.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about jury trials, but also coming up is Labor Day, and it's my argument that God created Labor Day. In Exodus chapter 20, verse 9, it says, 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, you or your son or your daughter, your male servant or your female servant, or your livestock, or the sojourner who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. That was Labor Day. We have Labor Day every seventh day. And, of course, that's not the holiday. The government instituted this Labor Day holiday. I'll find that later. I'll talk about it later in the show. But do you guys agree with me? Did God create Labor Day?
God definitely created the Sabbath, for sure.
Right.
There's a hustle culture right now. I've seen this going around the internet where people are saying, I work all the time. I work 24/7. And that's a really common, and it's not biblical. I mean, you do you. I can't force my beliefs on you, but rest is written into our DNA, in my very humble opinion. It's good for us.
And I think that hustle culture is a lot about ego, too. So pride. Yeah,
I heard some pride in that statement, yeah. But that being said, I mean, we are both here, if we were Orthodox, we wouldn't be in not compliance.
Saturday's the seventh day.
Right, so here we are. Forgive us, Lord.
Yeah, well, Jesus worked on the Sabbath too, so there's some precedent there for that. Well, thank you guys so much for being on the show, because we're going to talk about y'all's experiences in juries, but we want to give some background to the audience. Some people might not know who you are, so we just want to give a brief introduction again, and we'll start with you, Shannon. Shannon is not only an attorney, but she's a social media influencer. And you can find her on Instagram, Shannon Roberta San Antonio.
You're really nailing that.
Well, you like that way.
Ferrocarril. Can you say ferrocarril?
I'll have to practice that.
Carretera.
But tell us about the mission of your Instagram.
I want to hear that.
The mission for your Instagram.
I feel like, thank you. I don't have any idea if I'm right or not. It's kind of an experiment, but I feel like everybody is so disconnected right now. And as a community, we used to be smaller, and we used to know each other more. We had a town square where we would meet and talk with each other. And the more we are separated and in these camps where if you don't think just like me, you're the enemy and I'm going to hate you, the more people are in those polarized positions, our society's just crumbling. We're getting to a worse and worse position, hate, evil, mistrust, just all the negativity. So I'm trying to do a very positive space, stay very positive, just kind of emanate. A lot of people are not really into religion these days, but you don't have to shove a gospel of Jesus Christ down somebody's throat. That's going to be really offensive. But you yourself can just always be positive and emanate like a loving culture. So it's my little... I feel silly now just saying it out loud at least, but great. I'm trying. Do you remember that scene from that movie from the 80s from our culture? You're younger than us. But that scene where he says... who is it? Is that Breakfast Club? He says, pathetic and sad, but social. I can't remember the quote, but that's what I always think of when I look at my social media. Like, hashtag I'm trying. Trying my best.
Yeah. Well, part of a mission of Talk Law Radio is for people to see how one lawyer, this guy, lives the Christian faith.
Oh, beautiful.
Because I had somebody that was really interested in that, was really confused about how an attorney could be Christian or how a Christian could be an attorney. And, that sounds bizarre to most of us, but so I wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, I've run into that. You're an attorney and you're a Christian. How can that it doesn't exist in the same space?
You can be an attorney and have personal morals.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Right. Okay, so Alex, you started as a prosecuting attorney for Bexar County District Attorney's Office, and you served as a criminal defense attorney. Now you're working in estate planning for business owners, and you do some inheritance disputes. Tell us, what else should people know about you?
I have a lot of experience in trial, a lot of experience in court, settling things, resolving things without going to trial, which is how most things end up. There's always an alternative, almost always an alternative. So we always try to get things done that way first. It's in everybody's best interest. It's the cheapest way to do things, and it's typically how things are going to end up anyway.
I represented a son of an older person because his brother was named as co-power of attorney. And so, I
don't recommend that.
One son would put dad in assisted living and the other son would bring him home.
Yeah,
They had a different opinion.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah. And so then one son accused the other of stealing dad's money. And so my client brings me this grocery sack of receipts and stuff and going through it, and it seems like everything had been for dad. Well, they didn't communicate.
Yeah.
And so that was causing the dispute. But the other son had this attorney that was like a bulldog.
Right, yeah.
And wouldn't even talk to me on the phone.
Well, that's not ethical.
When I had discovered what I thought was an easy solution,
Right.
Having a family meeting about how the money was truly being spent.
Exactly, yeah.
But it had to keep going, because she was filing things and I had to respond to it.
Oh, yeah.
So it just goes to show you that some attorneys want to settle things, want to solve the problem, whatever it is. Other attorneys just want to fight.
Yeah, and my preferred approach is try and settle it, try and get a resolution that's good for everybody. But if it's time to fight, it's time to fight, if you're not leaving us any other choice. But you brought up a good point of people having co-powers of attorney. One of the discussions I have with clients that are considering litigation often is one of the things they're fighting about is, I want to be the executor. I want to be in charge. And I ask them, do you really? Because you're the one that has the duties under the law. You're the one that people get to complain about. You're the one that gets sued. So, we always have that discussion. Be careful what you wish for. You might get it.
Right. You might want to let the other person go through all the headache.
Be in charge. I'm doing air quotes.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that for the people that are listening on the radio. Yeah.
Todd,
so
when
what is your experience, Shannon?
May I ask, when you run into those opposing counsel that won't accept an easy, obvious solution and they're wanting to fight, do you think it's just their personality, or is it money-based, or, you know what I mean? If you got a big retainer.
I think that there are probably some follow each of those philosophies.
I agree.
Some just want to win, whatever the dispute is.
Some were just trained that way.
Yeah. Well, we got to take a break. When we come back, we'll be talking more about trials by jury, by judge. Stay tuned.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Each week, attorney Todd Marquardt talks about the law. His mission with the Talk Law Radio show and podcast is to help you discover your legal issue blind spots. In the beginning, God had one law. Don't eat from the fruit of that tree. Then came the 10 Commandments. Now we have federal, state, and municipal lawmakers that won't stop creating new laws. Laws that might impact you without you knowing it. Listen to the show and drop a line on Facebook or email host@talklawradio.com and let the host know what you think of the show, the topics you want to hear, and whether you want to be a guest.